What up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday, I had 5 plays, 2-2 in the NBA. So not necessarily a good day there. 1-0 in the NFL with that Burrow over 35 and a half pass attempts, which was easy. Easy, easy, easy. Props. All the props yesterday were easy. I lost on the side in total with the Blazers and Spurs team total under. So 3-2 is profitable. We still try to do a little bit better here today, and we got our good friend Mr. Rob Veno here to help us out. Rob, didn't talk to you yesterday. How's everything been with you?
Yeah, since we last talked, Ski, the last 2 days have been good. 4-2 on Wednesday when we talked. The big play there was the Mavericks first quarter. That was the game against the Bulls where Dallas was looking to get out of the chute quick. They did. They won the first quarter there. So 4-2 on Tuesday, 2-1 yesterday. Had a winner with the Bulls and Timberwolves over. Got there pretty easy, and had a winner in college football with the Florida Atlantic East Carolina game over as well. Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina lose that one by half a point. So that close to 3-0, but 6-3 the last 2 days, Ski, we'll take it.
Absolutely. If you could do that every day, go buy an island somewhere, man. So 6-3 is awesome. Let's get to it. We'll try to get through as many games as we can in the association. And we'll start with 531, 532, Hawks and Pistons. Opened up with the Hawks as a short 1 point favorite. Now flip of favorites with the Pistons, -1 or 1.5, depending where you shop. Total hasn't moved too much, but did move a little bit actually. Up from 226 to 227.5. Injury report. I see Duran, game time decision. Oh, he's doubtful. Actually, doubtful in this game. So without him, and Clintman and Thompson are both out as well. For the Hawks, the same usual suspects that have been out. Tired of naming them all. They're out again here today. Um, Hawks, I feel like both Hawks, I feel like are really inconsistent. Pistons, I feel like they play hard at least every game. And versus a Hawks team who plays no defense, I feel like they can find success offensively. I would be thinking about this one over maybe the Pistons. How are you viewing this one, Rob?
Yeah, I took the Pistons here, Ski. Even without Jalen Duran, which obviously on the boards is a big deal, but Isaiah Stewart fills in, and Paul Reed got a lot of praise from JB Bickerstaff for the way he filled in the other night after Duran got hurt. So I think they'll be okay there. Obviously, when we talked the other day, you talked about being or liking to play Trey Young when he's facing the Knicks. And boy, I saw the post game. He was happy as heck watching those Knicks fans leave the arena after. It's personal with him, very personal. And I don't know that it's the same with Detroit. Detroit could have had a 3-game winning streak. They get beat by a buzzer beater, a stick back at the buzzer. Otherwise, they would have won 3 in a row. And as you mentioned, they're playing really hard. It's hard to always trust Atlanta on the road. I don't know that I do here. And just the defensive part of the game still with them. Quinn Snyder can't get them to play any. So I like the Pistons here. I think the price is in a very good range here, even though it's been a flip of favorites. We're basically just asking them to win by a bucket. I like that side.
All right, let's keep it going. We'll move over to Pelicans and Magic. Opened up Magic -4.5, and they're 6 point favorite. There are a lot of 6.5s too. So, like I always say, make sure you line shop. Total down from 213.5 as low as 211. I see at Caesars. So that one you also should line shop. Um, we know Paolo's out. Wendell Carter Jr. is also out for the Pelicans. Still no DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones. Now we have Hawkins out, and then Zion is game time decision. I mean, just blow them up already. This season is like looking like it's over already for the Pelicans. But then again, I look at the Magic. You know, how are the Magic favored by this much? Really, versus anybody without Paolo. It's kind of how I think. That just kind of tells you how bad the Pelicans have been. So I can't really get there with a spread. I would agree with the market pushing the total down just because I know both teams are comfortable playing slower. And I do trust the Magic's defense still. I think they're missing a lot of offense, but that Pelicans defense has not looked good lately. So, Rob, I'm curious, do you agree with the market move down to the under? Do you trust the Pelicans play defense? How are you viewing this game?
I think it's hard to agree with the move on the side from 4.5 to 6.5, or is some spots six as we look now, Ski. I just don't, it's two teams. I think you described it best. Two teams that it's hard to trust at this point in time. Orlando has shown that without Paolo, they're not the same team. New Orleans has been miserable all season long. We talked about it a little bit the other day. I'm sure you've talked about it plenty on this show. So you don't want the underdog. You don't really want to lay it with the favorite. When it comes to total, I didn't play the game, Ski, and I really didn't look at it from any angle here. I just scratched it. But listening to you, I could, the reasoning is sound. I could understand anybody that plays under in this game. The fearful part would obviously be the New Orleans defense. But then again, Orlando probably compensates for that with their defense. So it's just a game where I didn't like either team. Generally, there's sometimes when we have a game with two teams and you want to bet them both, but they're playing each other and it's hard to bet them both. And this is a game where you don't want to bet either. At least I don't want to bet either. So like I say, I scratched this one off the card early.
All right, let's keep going down the list. I think there are better games, and this one is pretty interesting to me. Pacers and Hornets. Pacers up from 5 to 6.5. The total also up from 234.5 to 236. Nimhard and TJ McConnell are both game time decision here tonight. Nimhard is more like probable. They continue to be without Neesmith. For the Hornets, Brandon Miller and Grant Williams are both probable. They'll be without Miles Bridges, Jeffries, Nick Richards, and Mark Williams. Um, I think TJ McConnell is very important for this injury report and for the total. I mean, he's the guy who's going to continue to push pace for this team and just keep the offense flowing the way it's supposed to. So, my thought on this one, Rob, was we've heard, a few games ago, we heard the coach, we heard the players talk about getting back to playing Pacers basketball, up tempo, and we've seen it in the past few games. Um, so I immediately want to look at the over. I know the Hornets haven't been as high scoring, but in my mind, if the Pacers can push, the Magic without Paolo up and over the way that they did, I think it's kind of team proof almost. Just about. I'm holding off just because of McConnell. I'm curious what you think about that. Do you think we should be waiting to play this game over, or how do you view it?
I think in my mind, I would have isolated it with Indiana, but they pushed Indiana up from 119.5 to 121.5 where team total is concerned. Not that 122 is impossible for them to hit because, as you mentioned, they've been playing that way ever since, the big, I don't know, brainstorming idea that they wanted to get back to what they did last season. And it was mentioned to us the other day in the chat how poorly Charlotte rebounds without Nick Richards. And it helps Indiana, which is not generally a great rebounding team, but to be able to get to the rim, to be able to get some extra second chances against a weak rebounding team, I think helps their total as well. If I was going to look at it, Ski, I wouldn't even consider the combining the two. I would probably look solely towards Indiana. With their team total, like I mentioned, it's up there now at 121.5. First half total as we speak here, I'm going to look real quick just to see what their first half total is because they do get out of the gate pretty quickly lately, 60.5. I don't know. Either one of those I wouldn't be opposed to. I didn't play it yet, but I would say I would isolate Indiana team total one way or another in that game.
Interesting. I can understand why, because I definitely trust Indiana's offense more. But I'm just looking down here. Pacers are allowing 120.5 points per game. Their defense has not been good. Hornets allowing 116.8. I mean, both have not been good. Um, if I'm playing this game, I think I would roll with the first half over 117. I think that's the play I would like the most. If I see TJ in, probably make it official. Next game we have the Warriors and the Cavs. This one opened up. I mean, it's right where it opened. Cavs -4, and the total went up a little bit from 229.5 to 231. Injury report here. We have Draymond and Melton and Pods all game time decision. For Cleveland, you have Merrill very likely to play. Dean Wade is truly questionable, and Max Struess looks like he's out. Cavs undefeated here. Um, Warriors with one loss so far. I mean, I don't think I have to tell you, Rob. You know how I view these Cavaliers. I I don't think they're as good as everybody else. This is, I mean, I think the Warriors are really good, and I think they're deep. I think they're the better of these two teams. So to see them catching points is kind of like, I don't know. It makes my eyes like it makes me want to go run to the window and bet the Warriors. The one thing I don't like is they've been playing a lot of games on the road, and they're coming off a big win over Boston. I wonder if there's any letdown, but I feel like it's hard to have a letdown when you're facing an undefeated team. The Cavs are on the front end of a back to back. If I'm playing, I'm leaning towards the Warriors. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, there's a couple of things to look at for me, Ski. First of all, the first thing I considered was what you said, Golden State after the Boston win. That was a big win for them. Helped me out the other night. I had their team total over 111.5. They got there. I think they won that game 118, 112. Had control of that game for the greater part of 4 quarters. So Golden State played really, really well in that game. We have talked about their depth, like their bench this year. I want to read you a quote, though, from Cleveland. These are the types of teams I don't like to bet against. I'll give you the negative on Cleveland in my mind in a second, but this is Donovan Mitchell. We're playing good basketball. We've done it in so many ways. Blowouts, close games, come from behind wins. It's just the habits that really get me excited about what we're doing. My biggest thing is just being consistent. Let's continually be this team. But what's more important is what Kenny Atkinson, the new head coach, said, and they're 9-0. But he said, what I think about this team and the camaraderie that they have and the chemistry that they have, the chemistry we have going and how connected they are. I've been fortunate to land a really good group, a group that's been really successful in the past. I like those teams that play with chemistry, teams that like each other. It seems like Cleveland's in that spot right now. What I don't like about Cleveland, Ski, is the schedule. Look at the last 4 games, who they're playing. Lousy defense in Milwaukee, Orlando without Paolo, New Orleans, who stinks. They haven't really beaten Washington. They've beaten Toronto. 6 of their 9 wins are against bottom tier teams. Haven't really faced anybody as good as Golden State. Golden State's got a game or a day of rest heading into this. And I think if I could read into the Golden State mindset, they would love to be the team that bursts this unbeaten bubble that Cleveland's in. 9-0, Golden State would love to be the team that makes them 9-1. So I contradict myself on this one. I thought the total was really high in this game. I mean, I know Golden State's been scoring. I know Cleveland's been scoring. But 231 to me, and of course, I have to get up a lot of courage to bet unders, but I do think 231 looks a little bit high in that game.
I could understand that. I could see some defense in this game. I think I need some more time for this. I don't think I'm ready to push the button on the Warriors here. So just be a lean at this point. What's up, Mark? Appreciate everybody here. Casey's asking about Cleveland team total under. I would really trust. I mean, I'll trust both teams to play defense. Warriors are the second best defensive rated team so far, though. Cleveland is number 6. Cavs are the number 1 offensive rated team. Warriors are number 3. So, honestly, might be a game I just watch at the end of the day. Next game up, we have Suns and Mavs. And I just want to say the one thing that stood out to me in this game is Mavs are missing what? They're missing Lively. They're missing PJ Washington. And they're still opening as a favorite versus Suns, who have a better record than them. Suns did beat this team, I think, a week ago or so, a little bit more than a week ago. It's a chance for Dallas to get a little bit of revenge, but shorthanded, do you think they still can do it, Veno?
Yeah, and the shorthanded Skee is in just one particular area, right? It's significant because it's two reserve bigs. It's for the most part, I mean, the meaningful part, it's Derek Lively and it's Maxi Kleba. And both of those guys are bigs off the bench that Dallas won't have here. I got to tell you, I did a single game video on this. For those who want to see an in-depth analysis, you can go to YouTube and catch that. I did it on this Phoenix Dallas game. But I just talked about having courage to bet unders. And I had the courage to bet this game under, believe it or not. That doesn't come out of my mouth very often, but it's two of the top 5 defenses in the league. Phoenix number 3, Dallas number 4. We know Dallas started playing better defense last season. Phoenix, it's a real small sample size, but their road defense has been pretty lame. Only played 3 road games, but when they are at home, they're 5.4% better in field goal percentage allowed than they are on the road. On the road, they allow about 49%. Dallas at home only allowing 42.6. There's really no rest advantage here other than the fact that Dallas is 4th in 6 nights, but it's been a 5-game homestand, so they haven't traveled anywhere. They both had yesterday off. I looked at it this way, Skee. The Suns, when you go back to that first game that they won by 12, they crushed Dallas on fast break points, and they crushed them off the bench. I got to believe that Jason Kidd will implement some type of, or emphasize some type of transition defense here. So a plus 14 in fast breaks probably doesn't exist in this game. Phoenix, if I'm just going through numbers, they're 5-3 under this particular total, 232.5 this year. 5-3 to the under and 2-1 to the under on the road. Dallas is 5-1 under this total at home and 6-2 under this number all season long. They've been playing more low-scoring games, and the only team that really got them to go was Indiana. And we know Indiana plays far faster than Phoenix does. These teams in pace rank like 14th and 20th. So, again, the move was directly toward the over, but I went a little bit contrarian here. Thought that 232.5 was too high and played under.
It makes sense. Somebody, was the B Daddy said 5 straight unders in this series as well. Could be a tightly contested game. So Rob looking to go against the market in this one. Says it's a little bit too high. We're going with the under for this game. You had a question. First of all, they said thank you for the first quarter last game, asking what you think about it in this game.
Well, the reason why I played it last game is because Jason Kidd just emphasized it that day. We have to play. So they could, you never know. The game after, they could regress back to what they were doing, or they could continue what they were doing. I think the other night was the night to take advantage of it. I didn't play anything to do with the first quarter here. Like I said, I think the other night when they were emphasizing, let's get out of the gates quick, that was the night to play it.
All right, we'll go to the next game that looks like Nets and Celtics. And this one opened 13.5. They're 13-point favorite right now. Total came down from 227 to, I'm seeing as low as 220.5 right now. Continuing to go down. Injury report for these teams. Let me actually refresh because it's going down like this. For Boston, I see Jaylen Brown and Porzingis continue to be out. Cornet is doubtful. So they're going to be down some bigs over there in Boston. For Brooklyn, no Bogdanovich, no Sharp, no Watford, and then Clowney is truly questionable. I can't really understand why this total will come down if all the bigs are out. I think, they would play small ball or play faster, and it would be less paint protection. I don't know. I don't agree with that move down. What do you think about it, Veno?
Yeah, I didn't agree with it, and I'm glad I didn't bet this last night when Boston's team total was even higher. Boston's off the loss to Golden State, right? So they get to come back. So my first thought was Boston's going to bounce back here. Then when I did a little more digging into it and see how bad Brooklyn's defense has been, they're like 24th in field goal percentage allowed this year, giving up 48%. You just can't give up that high of a field goal percentage to a team that shoots as good as Boston. Regardless of who's out in that Boston lineup tonight, they still have plenty of scoring firepower. And if the Nets can't stop them on their home floor, then 117.5 looks so low to me for Boston. Boston could put up 120 with what they have on the floor rather easily. So to me, it was the best bet out of all in this game was to isolate it and take the Boston side over the total. We know real well, Skee, over the course of the last 4 or 5 years doing so many of these shows together and watching these line moves, that these injury chasers, they just push numbers because there's an injury. End of story. They don't really do any, like you just said, even though the bigs are out, the game could get faster because the smaller guys are on the floor. It could be more shot opportunities. Nobody looks at it that way. They just look at, got a bet total down. There's a starter out on one side. And sometimes it plays to our advantage. I think it does here. So I like Boston team total over.
And guys in the chat asking about Celtics first quarter. I don't know. Nets have been really strong starters. I don't know about their first quarter record, but I know they are 8-0 ATS in the first half. So maybe not the spot to do it. Nets are very well rested too. But I'm not mad at an over or team total, however you want to look at it that way. Like Veno said. Let's keep going down the list. This one, Rockets and Thunder. Thunder 8.5 point favorites. Total up from 219.5 to 222. And then injury wise, no, or Steven Adams is game time for OKC. Still without Hardenstein, Jalen Williams, and Kenrick Williams. OKC off of a loss too, right? To Denver. Not the best time to be facing them if you're Houston. I do view both of these teams as solid, or you know, I know OKC's defense is number one, but I think the Rockets are a good defensive team too. I think it's interesting that the total went up in this one. I maybe might see it to be a lower scoring game, but hard to bet against the Thunder off of a loss. What do you think, Vino?
Very hard to bet against the Thunder off a loss. And I have a slight theory here, Skee, on the Rockets and their defensive improvement. And we thought it would happen under Udoka. He's a defensive minded coach. But what he's done with this team that's different from last year is they've slowed way down. They're 25th in tempo. And last year, remember, there was a lot of talk second half of the season, especially where Jalen Green was concerned and the head coach saying he wants to see him off of defensive rebounds, get out and go. But this year they've slowed down. And when you slow down, your defensive numbers are going to get better. There's no question. Possessions in a game get limited. Oklahoma State is actually the superior side here simply because they go extremely fast. Third fastest tempo. And yet, as you said, they're the best defense. So even though they're going fast, they're still limiting teams with extra possessions. I think that's a big advantage towards the Oklahoma City side. At home, I would have to believe they're going to push Houston here. And if the game gets too quick, Houston might not be equipped. So for me, 8.5 was a number that I laid. I did play this game. I'm on Oklahoma City minus 8.5. I just think that that's interesting how coaches go about it. I think we talked about it a little bit with Budenholzer in Phoenix the other day. His theory basically was if we slow down a little bit, we can limit our turnovers and we can upgrade our defense because our defense won't be we won't be playing defense as much with limited possessions. That's kind of the way Houston's gone here. Slow it down, less possessions. OKC doesn't see it that way. They can still play great defense with the game going really fast.
Yeah, they can. They can play it either way. I'm looking at this right now. Both are top 5 defensive rated teams. Pace wise, Rockets are 25th. OKC is 3rd. So they do like to push. But Rockets are number 1 as far as, defense on the fast break points allowed. So if they're not getting a whole lot of easy baskets, the under could be good. The under surprisingly are 30th in free throw rate. Rockets also bottom 10 there. My bad, you guys. And then neither team really turning the ball over. Looking at protecting the paint, both are top 5 in paint field goal percentage allowed. I'm thinking this total is moving the wrong direction. I think the under is the play if I'm getting involved. Let's keep going down the list. Next, we have Wizards and Grizzlies. Grizzlies open -5. They're -7.5 now, and the total continues to climb from 227.5 to 231.5. Think, yeah, laundry list of injuries. Bane, Gigi Jackson, John Morant, Marcus Smart, Cam Spencer, Vince Williams, all out for the Grizzlies. Conchar is game time decision. For the Wizards, Marvin Bagley is game time. Sadiq Bey, Brogdon, and Kuzma all out. Um, you're missing a lot of firepower in this game. I mean, if everybody's healthy, I would agree with pushing this one up to the over, but I don't know that I can get there with everybody missing. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's what stopped me, Ski, because last night, when I just quickly glanced the overnight card, I had a little asterisk next to this game with an over, but then checking the injury report this morning, I backed off. Money hasn't backed off. It's gone from 227.5 all the way up to 231.5. But I'm with you. Without the players that you just rattled off in this game, I can't get there with the over, even though Memphis is rapid pace, even though Washington is, it's been very high scoring this year and they allow high scoring. Just tough without that amount of players and that amount of scoring absent from the contest. So I scratched it off.
All right, question here, Vino. We have, well, somebody in the chat said uh, we didn't get to this game. So let me ask you, Bucks and Knicks. While I'm fixing a banner, did you have anything on that one?
I'm a little surprised. I was about to bet this game about 45 minutes ago, and I saw the numbers start to go down. I wanted to bet the Knicks side, but the Knicks have now fallen from 7.5 to 6.5. I haven't checked the injury list since we started this show, so I don't know if there's something significant going on here with the Knicks. But you've got Milwaukee on back-to-back with travel and a terrible defense against Tom Thibodeau's team that's rested and at home. I thought the Knicks would be a pretty solid play here, but I have to look further into it because money continues to come in on the Milwaukee side. Don't really understand why.
I just see Giannis probables. Maybe he got upgraded to probable, or I don't know. Gary Trent Jr. is game time. Middleton is out. Campaign is game time. Achua out. Robinson out. Maybe just they didn't. They It's the boost because they're expecting
Giannis.
Giannis to play.
Yeah. And that wouldn't make a difference to me. I would prefer to lay less of a price with the Knicks and Giannis in the game. Giannis hasn't made that big of a difference in Bucks' performance so far this year. I think now that you say that to me, I think I will. 6.5 with the Knicks, I think I like quite a bit. So I'm just going to mark that down here. I thought maybe somebody from the Knicks would be missing, but if it's based on Giannis being probable, then I don't think that makes much of a difference in my opinion on this game.
Okay, I would agree with that. What's good, bro? Appreciate you tapping in. Says only 32 likes in here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had a best bet loser yesterday. They're not happy, I guess. I went 3-2, but the best bet on the show lost. I think maybe people are not happy.
No free memberships going out.
Look, Mike R says 100 likes so I can get a free membership. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate you guys. And PJ says he hit the like button. Appreciate you guys in the chat. We kind of ran out of time. We got 10 minutes left. And we have a few games. So I'm going to skip to a game that, both of us will probably have an opinion on. That's going to be Philly and Lakers. This is your neck of the woods and mine as well. -8 was the opener for Lakers. I see 7.5 or sevens. Totals up from 221.5 to 223. Injuries. I see Anthony Davis is game time decision, but he's probable. Same can be said for Jackson Hayes. Rui is truly questionable. No Vando, no Christian Wood, no Maxey, no Embiid. I'm gonna kick it to you first on this one, Vino. I mean, no Maxey, no Embiid is no Sixers, or do you think they stand a chance today?
No, I think no Sixers, Ski. I mean, those are, if Philly's in a bad way right now to begin with, and to lose Tyrese Maxey, who really has become the heart and soul of that team. Team will be led tonight by Paul George, which I don't know that I trust that much in this contest. So without Maxey and Embiid, you look immediately, at least I do, to the Lakers. My question became, do I want to lay the price with LA? Or do I want to play their team total over, because I don't see a heck of a lot in the way of defense on the Philadelphia side. So I'm not going to argue anybody if they like either of those. I think that both of those are probably solid. Likely, though, that the Lakers minus the points is the better play here. Philly's had a tough time shooting so far this season. Tough time scoring. You have to believe that Paul George is going to try and take charge and probably put up about 24 shots here. I don't know that I like that, Skee. So for me, probably Lakers, and I think I'll get involved with their team total as well. They've been pretty good scoring here. The number was 115 when I last looked, and I feel like they can exceed that here at home tonight.
I would ask you. I mean, I'm looking at both defensive ratings. Lakers have been worse than the Sixers. I mean, I'm looking at who they're playing too. I mean, they gave a 131 to Memphis, 115 to Detroit, 125 to Toronto, 134 to Cleveland. Why are we excluding the other side? Are we just that down on the Sixers? Sixers don't have, I mean, there's still NBA players over there.
But the difference with Anthony Davis in, they're a little bit better of a defensive team, probably a lot better of a defensive team. But after seeing these guys, I guess Kelly Oubre, I don't know, Skee. I don't trust them to score. Philadelphia, I guess, would be my reason why I'm leaving them out of this equation. If LA is that bad defensively, then maybe they can, combine for a full game over. I just didn't consider it. I immediately looked to the LA side. More of a fade on Philadelphia on my part.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was looking towards fading the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
I consistently say, if you are not playing defense, how can I trust you to win by any kind of a margin? And that's what I see from the Lakers. They're not getting any stops. It's not just that Memphis game. And it's not because they're playing good teams. They played the Pistons, they played the Raptors, and they got lit up by both of those teams. It's just, I mean, D'Angelo Russell, you can single him out. He looked terrible, not really even trying out there. I just, the way that the Lakers look on that defensive end, it's no way that I could lay with them. It would be Sixers or pass for me in this game.
You know what's crazy about that is I read a quote the other day where LeBron was actually praising Cam Reddish for defense. So, and they were
Because
reaching to the bench to try and find somebody to plug some holes defensively. I guess the only pushback I could have against that is that Toronto and Memphis do like to run, and Philly's got zero identity so far. Are they a running team? Are they just haven't gotten stuff together? Nick Nurse is a great coach. But until they get their whole group together, I find it hard to be on their side. Maybe the Lakers team total is the better way to go.
people in the chat say the Lakers are better at home. I mean, it's only been a small sample size to just say home or road, but on that road trip, they did look terrible. I don't know. I don't want to say it's just because they were on the road. I mean, they played at home versus Sacramento. They gave up 127. They played at home versus Phoenix. They gave up 116. I mean, they won both of those games, but it wasn't because they're playing great defense. I mean, I'm looking at the list right now of games they won. Not one of these games that they won have been by the margin that they're asked to win by today. There's no way I can trust it. No way. That's how I feel. So, Veno, kind of, I think we don't have enough time for three more games. They're the worst games on the slate anyway, except for maybe one, Miami and Denver. So I think we'll just we'll move it on over to best bets, and we I'll ask you first if there's anything you would like to promote, and then if you do have a best bet for the show, feel free to share. If you don't, that's okay.
Promotion's easy. If you guys aren't members over at wagertalk.com, just go ahead and put your email address in and you'll get instant access to all the free content that's provided over there. If you're interested in selection packages, college football, NFL football, NBA basketball, college basketball, I will say this. I haven't dove in to college basketball as much as I should as of yet, just because there's so much going on. So I'll leave college basketball out of it. But the football weekend, if you're interested, just go over there. Skee's got the link in the description. Best bet here, Skee. I'm going to go back to, I'm glad that whoever it was in the chat mentioned that we missed the game, because I got to figure this out with you giving me the Giannis update. I like the Knicks. I'm going to leave that as a best bet. Knicks -6.5 at home against a Milwaukee team that's on back-to-backs, that doesn't play any defense. Giannis in the game or not, I think the Knicks will be ready. I trust Thibodeau way more than we trust Glenn Rivers. For me, best bet would be Knicks -6.5 at home tonight.
Interesting. Rob going with those Knicks. Hopefully they get to the window for you there. For myself, same promo as Rob. All of my work is at Wagertalk.com. But I haven't made a bet just yet. I'll try and take my time. I had a short list. I ended up crossing 2 of them off, and one of them is pending the injury report if somebody gets ruled in. So I'll just let you guys know. Right now, I'm looking at the Pacers first half over 117 if McConnell's in, and I gotta think about it. Y'all know I'm a Laker fan, etc., etc. But I really think the Sixers are to play tonight. If you've been around, we've had some success with some dirty dogs in the past. I think it's the dirtiest dog tonight with the Philadelphia 76ers. I think that's the play. But I'm gonna check a couple more boxes off before I get to the window. And we might be able to wait anyway, because once AD gets rolled in and etc., the line could go up a little bit more. So that's the ways I'm looking. If I had to pick one right now, I'm fading the Lakers. Rob, I appreciate you taking the time to come break the games down with me. We'll be back again next week. I'll get with you. I'll text you. We'll figure it out. And chat, I appreciate you guys as well. A lot of great cappers and just great people in general. See some questions over there. No, there's no OG show today. A couple of the guys have some stuff going on. So we'll be back with that on Monday. I will be live right after this with my guy 5-Star. We'll talk some college football for today, some for tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit of NFL as well. So hop on over and check us out, and I'll see you over there. Peace.